No mai whakarango mai ki te aotai whenua. Welcome to Country Life. I'm Duncan Smith, and it's lovely to have you join us for our summer series, when we revisit some of the people and places we've been to over the past year around rural Aotearoa. Later on, Cosmo's cooling off at an outdoor ice rink that's been attracting skaters and curlers since 1951. And Sally Round climbs onto a bag of straw on an old vintage wagon, hitched up to a pair of heavy horses, and finds out about the Clydesdale, known for its enormous size and feathery hooves. But first, why are some teenagers looking at a future in farming? Janina Schwanecker finds out more.
If you've never gotten to experience life on the land, how can you decide if it's a career that might be right for you? I'm in Wairarapa with a group of about a dozen girls from the local high schools to learn more about how the Girls Who Grow program aims to get more young women into the primary sector. Today we're checking out a plant nursery, a nearby vineyard, and a dairy farm that's being converted to a sheep and beef operation. We're at Akura Nursery, just outside Masterton, to learn more about what they're growing from nursery manager Rachel Scanlon.
Bags that I mentioned, so go over your shoulders and then either side, that's where you put all your native plants. Climb up the hillside with your spade and get them all in the ground. It's a cool job, but a lot of work and planning goes into it. So I've got a little activity for you all. If you want to get into groups of 3 or 4, so there's a clipboard each. This is our leaflet which tells our customers more details about our poles. Inside you've got poplars on the left and willows on the right. So you've got the species names, but at the top you've got what are tolerant to drought, possum and wind. So you've got excellent, average, poor, that sort of detail. A little bit more there to read as well. So what I'd like you guys to do is you've got 2 sheets. One is a table. You've got zone 1, 2 and 3, which depicts what is on here. And you've also got some little laminates with pole species on them. So what I'd like you to do is, going by the leaflet, you have to choose which pole species you would put in zone 1, 2 and 3. And there's a bit of a little case study there about a farmer, and this is his land that he wants to plant with poles.
I sit down with some of the students as they get started on the exercise. Many of them here today don't come from farming or even rural backgrounds. Despite this, they're doing a mighty good job with the task they've been given.
We're kind of just having a look.
What kind of tree is a vitellina?
Well, here it says
Is it a poplar or a willow?
And is there a reason you guys have chosen that particular type of willow or poplar?
yeah, well, it's not got a great tolerance to wind or to drought, so we thought it'd be best in a low area.
Where there are
And
constantly water.
yeah, so that's why we put that one there. And then all these ones up here have like high tolerance to wind.
So you put them up high.
Yeah.
Nice.
Best.
And do you mind if I ask, do you guys come from farming backgrounds or have family who farm? No.
Town.
Are you guys studying ag stuff at school, or what made you want to get involved with Girls Who Grow?
Just like looking for what I could have a future in for careers. And,
I just thought, like a good experience and stuff, and I'm quite interested in like environmental stuff as well.
I'd like to learn how to like help the environment and improve it.
Do you guys feel like you're learning, that there are other opportunities? You don't just have to be a sheep and beef farmer or a dairy farmer. There's lots of different kind of jobs in the primary sector.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely like broadening our horizons. And also some of the mentors, was it last week, said that they like hopped careers multiple times, so we're not stuck with something for the rest of our lives.
That's certainly been the experience of Rachel Scanlon, whose journey into horticulture started with a love of gardening.
My name is Rachel Scanlon and I'm a nursery manager here at Akura Nursery, which is part of Greater Wellington Regional Council.
And Rachel, what was your experience like learning about agriculture or horticulture in high school? Were you exposed to these kind of career opportunities?
So I went to school in the UK, that's where I grew up. At the age of 14, I was very interested in biology and I also did Latin. So with Latin, it's a dead language, but it's also real prominent in the world of flora and fauna.
I was going to say, perfect for understanding plant species and genuses. And
So I was hooked from there on. So I sort of combined biology and Latin. My nan, my British nan, she was very much in love with flowers, and we used to play shops, like florist shops growing up with her. So that was sort of something that I think did resonate and was a bit of a little seed there that was sown. Always been very outdoorsy, always been fascinated with plants, absolutely adore them, and I'm very much an introvert, so plants, sort of like more comfortable with plants than with people most of the time. Got my qualification at university, and then for my own career I've worked with the National Trust in the UK, worked at Wakehurst Place, which has the National Seed Bank, which is part of Kew Gardens. And in 2012 I actually set up my own nursery in the UK in Sussex. So I was growing wholesale for the sort of garden centre industry. And in 2019 I got an offer I couldn't refuse. A couple of brothers who owned a landscaping company in London, they put an offer forward to purchase my nursery, took the opportunity and emigrated out here to New Zealand. Pretty much with horticulture there's so many different avenues you can go down, and you can be hands-on, you can be outside, you can be doing planning, you can be doing design. There is like so much to it, and my advice would be to just see what you want to do, venture out, get in contact with people and just grow from there, pardon the pun.
Girls Who Grow is a new initiative aimed at showcasing career opportunities in the primary sector to young women still at high school. Catherine Vandermeulen is one half of the team behind Girls Who Grow, which she and Amy Blake first launched in Otago last year as a pilot program. You'll hear more from Kath later. We head to Le Gras Vineyard down the road where we meet Brian and Nikki Geary. They tell us more about the water race that sustains their business.
It runs through our property and it starts in Little Mahanga and it goes through about 56 properties, but we'll show you how we use the water. Bry's going to turn on the frost machine so you can see what that does and explain the purpose of that. Then the girls that have got their gummies on, we might be able to try and find some coda and some eel if we're lucky and see what the ecology's like in the water. How does that sound? Cool, and I've got some worksheets so you can write down, if you've got pens, what you find in the water race later when we go, not hunting, but searching.
So we're going to look at the frost protection first, I'm told, so we can walk through the vineyard. Along the way, if you have any questions about viticulture or grape growing or selection or anything like that, feel free to ask. I haven't studied it, but we've been running this for 5 years and there's nothing to make you learn quicker than having a mortgage depending on what you do from morning to night, rest assured. It's much better than going to college, I think. Having that financial target to reach every month really puts you under pressure, and the learning curve is very, very steep. So we'll walk over to the water race. And as I said,
the theme underpinning each of these sites is the crucial role water plays in each of their businesses. Too much or too little, the girls have been tasked with finding solutions.
Should we just stop here and explain the weather system?
Yeah. This is the harvest monitor system. You can see it on the side of the driveway over there. You can see that on the silver box on the post over there. So that's the harvest monitor system. Any industry you're in now, the primary industries in particular, the technology is such a large part of it. The harvest monitor system is great. I love it until it rings my phone at 3:30 in the morning saying that it's 0.5 of a degree and there's a frost about to happen. So then I have to get my feet on the floor and get out and get the frost protection going. That said, It's a wonderful system, and you do sleep sound knowing that you're going to get that phone call at 0.5 of a degree to get you out there doing it. So, as Nikki explained, the buds are there. We get the water on at 0.5, forms the little water shield over it, then the water turns to ice at 0. The air temperature can drop to minus 3.5, but inside of that little igloo of ice, it remains at 0. For those of you that know more about it than I do, I'm told that there's a kinetic energy formed inside of that little igloo again, and it actually brings it marginally above 0. So it's in the positive temperatures as opposed to the negative. We keep the water flowing on it until it's about 2.5 degrees in the morning. And when it's 2.5 degrees in the morning, then kill the water and all the little igloos and the icicles melt, but the air temperature is high enough that there's no damage whatsoever done to the plant. Water is the safest form of frost protection, I'm told. Frost fans depend on the warm inversion layer, which is typically a minimum of 30 meters above ground, from 30 meters plus. So 3 types of frost. 2 of them have an inversion layer, 1 doesn't. If you're unlucky enough, which we were here 2 years ago, to have a frost that did not have the inversion layer, your frost fans are of no use to you because they're just circulating cold, freezing air, so you're doing more harm than good. Water will always freeze at 0. So water, as a result, is the best form of frost protection. That one that we had a few years ago, big vineyards were turning off their frost fans because of doing damage to the buds, whereas we were lucky enough here because we had water. We didn't have any frost damage whatsoever. Yeah, so that's frost protection, Le Gras style. As long as we have the water race flowing, we have permission from Council and GW to take water from it for frost.
Our last site visit for the day is at a former dairy farm being transitioned to a sheep and beef operation by James and Katie Wyeth.
Hi, I'm Katie Wyeth.
I'm James Wyeth.
And we're farming at Koparonga, which is just about 10 minutes north of Masterton. We have been at this property for about three and a half years. We bought a dairy farm and we spent the last 3 years converting it back into a sheep and beef finishing property. Okay, so what you've got there on that front page is a soil map. So Greater Wellington have got a huge amount of resources that farmers can use, and they've got this really cool mapping program, and that is a map of the soil types that we have on this property. And so we are standing, you want to have a look, we are standing, you can see just above the word Koparonga there's the shed. So we are standing in between, in this right down the bottom, in between these two, there's the big pine trees there, those ones there. Okay, so we're standing just on this side of those big pine trees. The soil types we have, there's quite a few different soil types. They're generally been made with a silt because the rivers would have over the hundreds of years, deposited silt here every time they flooded. So they've generally got a siltiness to them. A good way that we can have a look at our soils is by doing what's called a visual soil assessment. And this helps us to make decisions about how we manage the soil from a stock point of view, when we graze it, with what type of animals, those kinds of things. So what we're going to get you to do is have a look at these different soil types. Now this one here in this black bucket, if you have a look on that soil map, it's from this blue one. It's a real silt. So this is actually a bit that goes underwater. It's part of the farm that floods because it's really low, but because it floods a lot, it gets a lot of silt put over it. So it's actually, the drainage is much better. And so we looked this up this morning, and you can just see the grass species that it's growing, but can you see how the roots come right down into the bottom, and you can come over and have a feel of it. It breaks up easily, because plants need air as much as they need water and nutrients, so it breaks up, it's nice and friable, you can break it up easily, the water gets through it, the roots get through it. There'll be, I'm not sure if there's, because it was underwater, whether there are many earthworms in here. Come compared to this soil, which is the one that's actually a similar soil to this one here we dug up. It's actually a similar soil type, or the same soil type to this, but this is completely different. So you can see the colour is different, the feel is different, it doesn't break up as much. Can you see the just like the rusty bits all through it? That's basically rusting because it hasn't got enough air in it. And you girls can grab a spade. If one group stays here and has a dig here, and you can compare it. So on your pages behind the map, there's a scorecard, and for each of those scores, there's some information behind and some pictures where you can compare it and give it a score of 0 to 3.
There's been a recent drop in the number of students looking to the primary sector. At the moment, just 6% of school leavers are entering the industry. With women making up just over 30% of the workforce, it can be especially hard for younger women looking to enter the field. Katie tells me she's especially passionate about seeing the next generation of women coming into the sector.
I love getting involved in industry stuff. I mean, the industry's been really good to James and I, and we just see so many opportunities. And we've also got lots of problems and challenges to solve too. And the younger generation, you know, they're going to be such an important part of fixing some of our problems and taking our sector into the future. So I think it's really awesome. And I've had a lot to do with the Agri Women's Development Trust and, you know, getting more females. I know when I first got into the industry after school, I was a sales rep and someone said to me, oh, how are you going to be a female driving up that driveway? And now it's just so different, and I'm stoked it's different. But yeah, how about you?
No, I feel the same way. Our daughter's very keen on farming, and we sort of she'd be sort of fourth generation farming for our families in the Wairarapa. So we'd sort of love that to continue on.
Do you think programs like this could help create connection between people who might not have considered those careers before?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, a lot of the girls here today weren't necessarily from a farm, so it was great to have them out and just opening their eyes. I think, you know, we've lost our connection. What was the story? It used to be only 1 degree of separation to a farm, or a lot of kids spent their school holidays on farms, and that doesn't happen so much anymore, and it doesn't take long to not understand how your food is produced. So, you know, providing these opportunities for some of these girls that might be interested but might not really understand what it's all about, just to, if you can, you know, light a little spark in there.
They
cool.
love getting their hands dirty, eh?
Yeah, they love it. They love it. Even farmers love that. You know, you get them out looking at their water or looking at their soil or looking at their stock. Getting their hands dirty is 100% way to engage them.
It's been a day of discovery for the girls, including those we spoke to earlier from Solway College.
I learned a lot more about water races and like the impact they have on a lot of properties and stuff.
How many properties actually depend on those natural water sources to live or
prevent frost affecting especially at the vineyard.
It was really cool seeing how they did that.
Yeah, like the natural solutions they use instead of man-made stuff. So
You guys mentioned earlier that none of you come from farm, you all live in town. Do you feel like you're a little bit more open to or interested in maybe going into ag one day?
I'm definitely considering it. It seems quite fun and interesting. So.
I would definitely like to live rurally one day.
Yeah, same.
On a property somewhere.
Kath too was pleased with the day.
We've been on the Girls Who Grow on-farm lunch and learn experience, where we've taken the students from a number of the colleges in the region out to different places and spaces in their region. So we were at Akura Nursery this morning, we spent some time at Le Gras at the vineyard checking out their water race, and now we're here at a sheep and beef farm that was an old dairy farm and looking at their soil and looking at their water and natives and how all those things need to be considered in the whole ecosystem. We've just been particularly digging holes in the soil to learn about the different topography of the soil within one paddock, where there's sometimes low-lying water and different grass that will grow in those particular areas. Some of the feed that the animals won't eat. So just trying to support the students to understand different land use and how actually all those things can work collectively together. The learnings that we learned at Akura can be applied to this farm, where the learnings that we can apply from this farm relating to water can be applied to vineyards. So just how it all incorporates into one big healthy ecosystem.
And some of the students I was talking to earlier, they're not all from farming backgrounds. Some of them live in town. I suppose as this, Girls Who Grow realised, having students from all sorts of different backgrounds on farm learning about the primary sector.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess it's more than just the primary sector. Agriculture is not just about farming. Farming is one component of agriculture, and being able to open their eyes to lots of different industries that could be connected. They could move into a career that's relating to soil. They could move into a career relating to ecology or genetics or water or, the technology to understand the soil and the water. There's so many different opportunities for students, and really our role is to showcase all of those different things and to connect them to the land, whether they're living in an urban region or whether they're living out on a farm. How important it is for us all as human beings to connect back to the land.
Catherine van der Meulen of Girls Who Grow ending that story. Janina also spoke with Rachel Scanlon from Akura Nursery, Brian and Nikki Geary from Le Gras Vineyard, James and Katie Wyeth, and some of the students from Solway, St Matthews and Kuranui College. Do you want a break from the dog days of summer? Well, to cool off, let's go to a community-run outdoor ice rink in mid-Canterbury. Cosmo Kentish Barnes was there last winter with rink spokesperson Rob Withers.
We're 40 kilometres inland from Ashburton in the foothills at Staveley, for altitude of about 500 metres.
And how would you describe the scenery around the rink?
Right, well, we're in the original situation where the old rink was first made, and we're surrounded by native bush. It's basically black beech and all the other native bush that goes with it. We get a great look up into Mount Somers, which is our main mountain in the district here, and it's a beautiful spot.
What's the history of this rink? Who first built it and who owns this land?
So the land now is owned by the Staveley Hall Society, which is the umbrella for all of this and for the curling as well, and the Staveley Hall. So in 1949, three local guys got together and decided they needed more entertainment in the district than just dances, and so they formed a road. They did it all with tractors. I think there was up to 15 tractors at a time with tractors and trailers, and had a bulldozer here and made a hole and filled it with water.
To get to the rink from the car park, one has to cross a stream?
Yeah, we need to cross Boyers Stream at the moment, and we just have an old flatbed trailer sitting on a couple of wheels and some heavy steel ramps both sides, which probably is our last year of using that.
Now in the middle of the shelter we're standing in, there's a big fire to keep people warm.
Yeah, it's a great spot, and the kids love cooking marshmallows, and there's a bit of number 8 wire with a wooden handle on it, and the kids tend to burn most of them, but it's they don't get to do that anywhere else. So no, they love it. And Alan keeps that stoked up and keeps us all warm. Yep. Yeah.
First job I do.
And you've got lots of firewood under the benches around the fire. Must get quite cosy.
Yeah, and we're lucky. Our local Lions clubs have donated firewood and on tables and so on out here. So no, we're very, very lucky.
Yes. And we are looking at a big upgrade of the original ice rink. Tell me about that.
No, we're very excited. So, I don't know what you call it, global warming, whatever you want to call it, climate change. We've had successive years of not skating, and so we had to do something. So we've gone for a refrigerated or assisted rink.
And this is an Olympic ice hockey sized rink. It's quite big.
Yep, so it's big enough to accommodate a proper game of hockey. So in fact, on a Monday afternoon after school, we've got 20 children getting coached for ice hockey, which is going to start next week. So we're got quite a program. We've got Monday doing that. We've got Tuesday and Thursday as the Windwhistle Curling Club's outings from 1 to 5. On a Thursday night now, we've got a league running. It's a business house league, and so there's 8 teams of 4. So there's 32 people curling here on a Thursday night.
You've got a local league?
Yeah. Bit of a shout out to Ben Streeter, who organised that for us. He did a really good job. He's the secretary of the Windwhistle Curling Club. And on a Friday it's a Learn to Curl night, and on a Wednesday night is skating, and then we've got Saturday afternoon, a Saturday night skating, and then a Sunday afternoon skating. And it's pretty special coming at night time. We've got fairy lights running from the car park to the rink, and then we've got very, very good outdoor lights.
When did the new rink open here?
So this rink opened the 1st of July last year, The enormity of it was that we had volunteers that did 4,000 hours of community work for us, and from all walks of life, but a lot of them were local farmers, and we were very, very lucky, and the donations were extremely generous. We raised $750 through local donations. $750 through local donations.
$750,000?
Personal and business.
Crikey, that's a lot of money.
Another $750 through grants. It cost us about $1.4 million.
So a long-term
huge, and
investment.
we started debt-free, so look, it was an incredible project.
And I have to say, it's not very expensive to come and skate here. What is it, $10 to come in and $5 to hire skates? It's very cheap, isn't it?
No, well, that was our aim. Our aim was to provide a winter sport for everybody. And look, we're lucky we've got volunteers, so that keeps the labour costs down, and we need to cater for families, and that's what we're doing, and community and families. And I think just looking out there now, you can see people are very happy about what's happening.
How many people do you think are here right now?
I'd say there's 150, Alan, wouldn't you? There's be at least 150. It's a good crowd, yeah.
And how important is the money you get from the rink for the local community?
That's a very important part for us. So we don't really know how much we're going to earn, but it's reasonably good. But we have a hall that was built in 1892, and it's got a roof that's looking very, very sad, and trusses that aren't looking so good either. So we've got that project. We've got a bridge that we're going to build within the next 2 or 3 months, which will come over Boyers Stream. And then we're probably going to build a hire centre here rather than working out of containers.
I may interrupt, Rob. I'm Jo from Burnside Park Tennis Club. I've come to see what you guys did with our turf.
All right. So, yeah, Joe's here from Burnside Tennis Club. And so my brother fortuitously drove past the Burnside courts and saw they were renewing their tennis courts. And I'd said to him a long time ago that I thought probably the best option was to put AstroTurf down over our shingle, stop all the muck and stones going onto the rink. And as Joe says, we ended up getting there. They gave it to us.
Yeah, so we were refurbishing our AstroTurfs and we had to get rid of the old stuff, and it was going to cost us $11,000 to dump it. So sustainability wise, I put it out to the community to say this is all for free, and Rob gave us a call and we organised it with him to come and collect it all. So it's got a new lease on life and will be here for another 20, 30 years or so.
And it's covering the area between the skate hire container and this shed here where the fireplace is, and this is the first time you've seen it?
Yeah, I came down just for the day, just to have a look, because I knew that the rink had opened now. So I thought, come and have a look, take some photos and take it back to my club and show them what community networking is all about.
Spread the word. Yeah. Now, Alan, you are the ice manager, is that right?
That's right, yes.
So what does your work involve?
Mostly, initially, making the ice to start with at the beginning of the year, which we do. We put on spray water with a hose on the ice every 3 or 4 hours overnight, because night time's the coolest.
Yeah.
So it works pretty well. Yeah.
And then do you have a machine that you smooth it over with?
Yes, partway through the season last year we imported a machine from Canada that's behind a tractor, and that grooms the ice. It's got a blade underneath, scrapes all the ice clean, and then we fill the machine with hot water and drag a towel around and spread hot water on the ice.
And that just makes it perfectly smooth.
And that leaves a perfectly smooth surface.
It must look amazing before anyone starts skating in the morning.
Oh, yes, it does. Yes.
How did you become the ice manager here? What's your background?
My background is farming, nothing to do with ice whatsoever. I was at a hall committee meeting. They put the job up and said that we're looking for someone to do it, and I said, I might have a go at that. So that's how we got started, and had a lot of help from not only local people but visiting people that come here to skate.
So you're still learning?
Oh, definitely, yes. Ice is a pretty tricky thing to work with.
Are you still farming?
No, I've retired. Yeah.
What were you farming?
Mostly dry stock farming, and We've got a little block. We're the closest house to the rink, so it's quite handy.
Quite handy. So you pop over early in the morning and get things going?
Yes, we do. I'm here a couple of hours before we start, and usually 2 hours after we're finished, I groom the ice every night when they've finished.
Now, what sort of machinery runs the cooling device?
There's 5 compressors in there.
In the container?
Yes, which is all monitored with computers. So they automatically start up and automatically stop off at minus 0.5.
So it's quite high-tech machinery?
Oh, very. Above my head.
There is a skiff of snow on Mount Somers. If it snows down here, will the rink stay open?
As soon as we get the snow off, it'll be open, and it won't take us too long to do it.
So people could ice skate here in the snow?
Yes.
And lovely.
They'll play in the snow, I know that.
Well, the fire is cranking beside us. I don't know if our listeners can hear it, but will that keep going till night time?
Yes. We skate until 9 o'clock tonight, so the fire will be going till then.
Phoebe, where are you from?
I am originally from Invercargill, but I've spent most of my life up in the North Island.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you love about this ice rink?
I like that people are very supportive. There's a lot of other people who have just begun ice skating as well. So I'm not alone. Yeah,
I've had a quick go and I think I'm probably the worst ice skater here. I'm so pleased that I didn't fall over.
Right. Yes.
Did you have any falls?
Not so far, luckily.
Enjoy the afternoon. We're lucky today because it's a blue sky, but it's starting to get a bit chilly.
Yes, it's going to snow soon.
Really?
Yes, out towards Methven way.
What's your background, Rob?
I was born in the local district, and my wife and I, Jane, have come back, and it was a while ago now, 1999, 2000, we converted our farm down at Staveley into a dairy farm, and so we're dairy farming.
Yes, and how's that going?
Well, I'd prefer to be dairy farming than sheep and beef at the moment. I feel very, very sorry for them at the moment. Like, it's a tough old road, and we've got a lot of friends who are sheep and beef and they're hurting, but they've just got to stick to it. It'll come right.
Have you been encouraging local farmers to come down here and do a bit of curling or skating?
Yes, well, we try and book a night once a month that we'll have a community night, and we can get local farmers down, or anyone from our community, and we come down here and we have a barbecue and a few beers and get the fire going, and we just open the shed up for them to use the curl stones and skates, and there's no charge to it. It's just a good thing to do.
Just to get everyone together?
Yeah, and it's a payback for our community who have put so much into this. But we were lucky as kids, our family, we were lucky. My father was a skater and he taught us to skate, and we just wanted to keep it going.
Rob Withers at Staveley's community-run ice skating rink. Cosmo was also talking to Iceman Alan Lowen, Joe from Burnside Park Tennis Club, and Phoebe, a visiting skater. Now Sally Round is taking us to the end of a gravel road, where the farmland which encircles Mount Taranaki almost runs out. While she was there, she said she had to pinch herself as it seemed like she'd gone back in time. Take a listen.
Shall we go and have a look?
Yeah, why not? That's great. I've just got 5 now. I got just 4 mature ones and yearling filly. One of the mares is...
I'm with Steve Muggeridge, a man with a passion for Clydesdale horses.
How many have you had at its peak?
Oh, 12.
12, wow.
Yeah, back in the day when we were doing a lot of work, and I also cut the numbers down a wee bit also because not the work around that used to be, know. I still do a bit of public work around the place, vintage weekends and parades and that sort of thing, go to a few shows. This time of year is just when the show season's sort of winding down.
Here they are, aren't they beautiful? Who have we got here?
So we got Merrick here that's sniffing everything. He's a 9-year-old gelding. We got Fiona on the right. She's a 14-year-old mare. And then we've got out in the paddock there the wee yearling. Her name's Rita. Her mum's over there tied to the truck on the far side. Her name's Beth. And then Beth is 7 years old. And we've got Jess. She's a light strawberry roan mare. She's 11. So Jess is one that's in foal.
We last met Steve about a decade ago, ploughing with his heavy horses at Erewhon Station in the South Island. Now he's back in Taranaki, where the family interest in Clydesdales all started.
You breed the horses you break them in, you get them working, and you have them all your life, and they, just like this fella that keeps coming up to us, they just become your mates, you know, they really do. It's, he's a bit over the top. He loves a bit of human attention.
Do you think I'm in the way here?
No, he's all right. He's like this with everyone. He just loves human attention, you know. And they've all had a feed just before when they come up here. They've all had a good feed. So yeah, they just love that human attention. They're just like family members, really.
How long have you been involved with the Clydesdales?
My whole life. Yeah, I way back from when I was a kid. Dad farmed with horses all his life till he passed away in 1985, and I just carried them on. And yeah, it's great. It's a lot of work, but yeah, it's a real passion. You can see these horses here right now. They're right in your face. It's they're
interested in everything.
Yeah, they become your mates. All right, there's no doubt about that.
Steve's late father, Lou Muggeridge, set up a Clydesdale stud at Te Kiri 15 minutes away back in 1976. So for Steve, this grazing block is a bit like coming home. Steve's getting a pair ready for work, and work is what the Clydesdale was bred for. Their great height and strength ideal for pulling ploughs and other farm tools before the arrival of the motorised tractor. Today they'll be pulling Steve's vintage flat-topped wagon.
Well, I'm hopping on. Yeah. Steve's got a special sack of chaff for me to sit on. Up we go. All right.
It's an old wagon. It's 1906. It's got a wind-up brake, but we don't need that with these two mares in it because they brake with the britching, you see. So.
Was this your father's wagon as well?
No, I picked this up way back in the late 80s from Martin. I drove past his cockie's place and was sitting out in the paddock, so I went and seen him about it and I bought it. He didn't give me a very good deal, but I still got it. And we spent a few dollars on it, and it all paid off. It's come up really well, actually.
Well, we've got Mount Taranaki straight ahead of us.
Yes, we have.
And the horses.
We got Beth on the left and Jess on the right, so we're nearly ready to go.
Thanks.
Okay, girls, come up. Come up. Come around.
What sort of weight are they pulling, Steve?
It's on wheels, so the wagon does free wheel. Steady, guys. So going downhill, it's virtually nothing, and then if we turn around and come back up that little rise, it'll most likely turn into just over a tonne. Yeah. As soon as you pull off the tar seal onto grass, the weight virtually doubles, especially when you've got a load on.
We're definitely off the tar seal here on this remote gravel track. The last farmhouse is behind us, and we're heading up towards the mountain. Through a cutting we go, and there it is, Mount Taranaki in front of us. It's a magical sight with the horses' heads bobbing in the foreground. Steve does hitch up his horses now and then like this for weddings, funerals and agricultural shows.
When you said your father farmed with them, is that all he had?
Yes, that's all we had. So I know it's going back a few years now, but 1988 was the last year that we ever stacked hay. Did everything with the horses, mowed it, rode it, put all the stacks in. That was the last year.
And why did he not move on to mechanical, to the tractors?
Just the same passion as me. He loved the horses, and he just loved the horses, and it was just a passion of his as well. So it was great, really, an absolute passion. And you've got to, like I was saying earlier, you've got to love it because it is a lot of work. I'm still shoeing my own horses, but I'm only 63, but the old arthritis is getting into me a bit, so I still do it, but it's jolly hard work. There's no doubt about that.
You say that the work is not there. People were interested in using them for ploughing?
Yes.
Still?
Yeah. That's the trouble. There's not many of us left, that know those old ways, working the horses and feeding them right and that sort of thing, and looking after them. Actually working them as in doing all their agriculture work, their ploughing and cropping and that, there's still, there's still one or two in the South Island. And
But why would people still want to do it when there are so much easier ways to?
Oh, there is easier ways. There's no doubt about it. It's just the attraction. Like I say, you breed the horses, you break them in, you get them working, and you have them all your life, and they just become your mates. They really do. Really.
Steve also has an official role within the Clydesdale community. He's the president of the Clydesdale Society of New Zealand, which has about 160 members.
A lot of Clydesdales are getting ridden, eh? Yeah, again, because most shows now have a ridden class, and
so that's different from before.
Yeah, way different because they were bred to work. But yeah, the ridden class seems to be very popular at shows, and lots of sort of small block holders have got them, and just the physique of them, and just they look so cool when they're all cleaned up and with their flowing feather and all that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
The hooves with the beautiful feathery
yes, exactly,
coat over the top.
So yeah, once they're all cleaned up and all cleaned up for the shows and that, they do look very smart. And a good horse will show itself off when you take it to a show. I know my fellas do. They might just look a bit plain out in the paddock, but you get their gear on and get them in the show ring, and the 4 of them in the wagon or 3 of them in the wagon, they strut their stuff. They really know what's going on, and it makes you quite proud. There's been quite a few moments in my life when the hair on the back of my neck has stood up. A 100-year show at Levin show there quite a few years ago. I had 5 horses in a big wagon. I went past the grandstand and everyone stood up and clapped, and the hair on the back of my neck just stood up. It just made me feel so proud, I can tell you that. That was amazing, Even having a 6-horse team, even if you're doing a bit of ploughing and you just sit back on the seat and you're studying them all and just think, it just makes you so proud that you've bred and broken in and got them all working, and there's nothing like it really.
Do you ride them yourself, Steve?
No, I don't actually. I'm a real keen on working them. We have ridden the odd one or two, but I don't make a point of it, you know what I mean? So yeah.
How's the show season been?
Yeah, there's been a lot of shows this year. Have actually, entries are doubled since last year. Like Levin show this year was a royal show, and back in January we had 23 entries. Our other main North Island show is Morrinsville, and they had 18 or 19 there. That's a North Island Championship show. People were keen, but there's still, like from the Clydesdale Society point of view, we've got to see if we can sort out some more classes for these people that have got one horse and they can go into riding, and we've started up a long reining class where you can just drive your horses with long reins over a course, just to sort of get more people out there interested. It's all for the novice, and it's all a learning thing, which is great. Public absolutely just love seeing the Clydesdales.
So it's in good heart?
Yes, very good heart.
And breeding? What about that? Are people breeding them?
Yes, so breeding is hit and miss. No matter, you can do everything to the best of your ability and still end up with nothing. So it's like me this year. I sent 3 mares away to get in foal. I end up with 1 in foal. So just one of those things, so yeah.
So you want to build it up again?
Build it up again, just get numbers back up again, just to replace some of the older ones, like even Fiona there, she's 14, but she's a great, real hard-working mare. She's still got a lot of life, and they all have, but I just like to have these young ones coming on.
Would you like to see more farmers using them in front of the plough?
Oh, too right, I would, but I think in this day and age, people would laugh at me, They really would, Sally, they would think it's a hell of a joke. But
so do you go down to the pub and try and convince them?
Some of them think, they think I'm... I think it's pretty cool that I've still hung on to the horses. They don't all agree that there's still a place for them for whatever reasons. But yeah, it's quite a hard case, really.
What about the international scene? How's that for the Clydesdale horse?
Oh, great. Australia's very strong. Yeah, very strong indeed. And a lot of our recent stallions that have been bought in New Zealand have come from Australia. Even further afield, even way over in Scotland, and where the Clydesdale horse originated, it's pretty strong over there too, actually. Yeah.
And what do you think the future of the breed is here in New Zealand?
I think it's very strong. It's got to the point now people are they want to keep this breed alive. Our numbers have dropped over the years, the breeding side, but the last couple of years it's starting to pick up again now. after my generation, we haven't got that many young ones coming on behind us sort of thing, but I just hope they can keep it going,
how are you going to bring them on?
Yeah, for the horses' sake, that's the thing.
Yeah. How are you going to bring them into it?
It's just so hard. I'd hate to see it die out myself.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, isn't it? When it's a workhorse,
yes,
and you've got young people coming through. I mean, what can they do with it?
Yeah, that's dead right, and it's hard, and unless you've got a bit of land and that sort of thing, it's very hard, Sally. I don't think they'll die out, but they are a pretty rare breed, if you know what I mean. Hold on.
We're back in the wagon and the horses have a clip in their step as they head towards home. I'm still seated on the bag of chaff. In fact, it was pretty comfortable.
Let's move up that little rise. It's got a pretty good lock on it. Full lock wagon, you can spin right around.
Wow, that was a tight corner.
Yeah, it just, because the whole front turntable goes right around underneath the body of the wagon, so it's pretty cool actually. This flat top, it tracks well along the road, just with 2 horses in it. I have had 4 horses in it, and I've even had 5 horses in it, but I put a big load on it, for the show scene and that sort of thing, so they can see the horses working.
How heavy a load can they carry?
Like this? A horse, and just in this day and age, a good fit horse that's done a fair bit of work should be able to pull a ton quite easily by itself. And it's a bit like the 3-furrow plough. We have 6 horses in it, so it's sort of 2 horses per furrow. And but back in the day, when we were on the farm, we never had a big plough. We just had mainly single furrow, double furrow plough. So what we used to do is we'd put 3 horses in a single furrow plough and stop for lunch, and you just keep going all day, and then just that extra bit of horsepower can get a lot done,
How old were you when you first started ploughing?
Dad was there. My father was with me, but he let me do my first couple of runs of ploughing when I was 12 years old. So, quite enjoyed it, I haven't done any competition ploughing for quite a few years, but I used to enjoy that too, Yeah.
Do you think there's room for horse and plough nowadays, especially around the emphasis on soil and trying to keep cultivation to a minimum?
I feel there is, Like back in the day, people would laugh at me, like on the farm when Dad was alive and we used to plant maize, would eat the paddock out, would plough it, would have let it lay for most probably a month, and then we'd just get straight into it with a disc and work it all up and put a bit of lime on it and then get the crop in, and especially for maize, let it die, let that grass die, and that becomes a bit of fertiliser as well. And everything gets rushed this day and age that we live in, and plus the paddock was out for so much longer, but we always end up with good crops. There's no doubt about that,
And what about the carbon in the soil?
Yeah, that's dead right, exactly. It's sort of that was perfect the way we did it, by ploughing it and letting it lie. It was just perfect. It all broke down itself. The worms did their job, and it just all broke down itself. It was great. When I was living in Central Hawke's Bay on the main road, the people I was leasing it off said, "Steve, would you plough that front paddock by the main road for us, please?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to." So did that with the 6 horses, and then he said, "Actually, I've got a drill. It's a tractor drill, but it will fit behind your forecart, and all you have to do is pull a rope to drop the coulters in the ground and lift them out. Would you plant my crop for me as well?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do that for you as well." Well, he was so impressed how that crop come up, and it made me feel good. He reckons the horse's pace was made for that drill. He reckons when he hooked it behind his tractor, he went too fast and could never have a good crop. Over. I'm just going to go and turn around in the paddock so the wagon's in the right position to go back in the shed, you see. Come up, girls. Yeah, there's your mates, hey? There's your mates. Come up. Over. Whoa. Round, Jess. Come round, Jess. Whoa. Oh, they should be able to do it, but they don't do enough of it, eh? That's the thing these days, because back in the days with the old taking the milk to the factory, they were always backing into the stage to unload the milk cans and all that sort of thing. Yeah, it's a little bit wet, but it's not that bad. Come on. Good girls. Come round. Come round.
Steve Muggeridge backing up his wagon with a little help from his Clydesdales at the base of Mount Taranaki, the new home for his beloved herd. Well, that's it from the Country Life team this week. I'm Duncan Smith, and I hope you'll tune in again next week for another edition of the Summer Series. Don't forget to follow the Country Life podcast, which you can find on any podcast platform. And there are photos and stories and a whole feast of country life listening on rnz.co.nz/countrylife. Bye for now.